Do you ever feel like your body is stuck in a state of stress? Do you feel like you're always in fight or flight, even if everything around you is absolutely perfect? You just feel like you're stressed out. A lot of people have been asking with EFT, why do we tap on the negative affirmations? And so I wanted to share with you the science behind it because a lot of the time when we're trying to create success or visualize or manifest, we're told, only focus on the positive. But there are a lot of research backed reasons why in EFT we actually tap on the more negative or uncomfortable side of things first before moving into the positive. So at Yes Apply, in our techniques and our modalities that we teach, we love to dive into the science to make sure that what we bring you is truly evidence based. And so today we have our incredible Aubrey here, our neuropsychologist on our team, who is going to share with you some interesting facts about EFT that are going to help you understand it even better. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Aubrey.
Amazing. I'm really excited to talk about this topic because today we get to talk about a few of the brain regions that are activated and deactivated when we are introducing EFT into our daily routines. And I'd say one of the top questions we get about EFT is how does it work? Why is it so helpful? How does it help me sleep better? There are all these really amazing sort of waterfall effects that a lot of our community shares once they really get into EFT, start doing it every day. And there's a lot of science behind why that may be the case. So, one of the first cool things I love pointing people to is to think about our amygdala, which is kind of like the alarm system in our brain that activates when something really emotionally heightened happens to us, or something in the past has happened to us that was so emotional that we attach those memories and kind of expanded on that emotional part of the memory, right? And it just really stuck with us. So whether it was something traumatic or whether it was just something that really just overshadowed everything else in the memory, just that emotion stuck with us. Our amygdala is highly involved in that process. And every time it's activated, we do tap into that really emotional part of ourselves, which is sometimes a good thing, but in lots of cases can kind of distract us from our goals or make us feel more stressed if we're feeling a little bit stressed to begin with. And EFT tapping is shown to lower our cortisol levels to the point where it's suspected that there's this indirect effect between tapping and bringing down the activation in our amygdala, which is really amazing. And in fact, there's a study that was done in 2012 by Dr. Dawson Church that compared a group of people who were being introduced to EFT and using that, and people who were using talk therapy for very similar kind of sort of daily stressors that they felt. And it was shown that those who used EFT compared to talk therapy showed a 24% reduction in cortisol levels after EFT versus after the talk therapy sessions of the other participants, showing that people tend to really benefit from this extra component that EFT offers. So it's not just, talking through things and thinking through things. It's also feeling through it and letting your body have a moment where it can be touched and feel grounded and know that it's safe. And so we know there's something here related to lowering our cortisol and deactivating our amygdala that's really, really beneficial for a lot of people. Another benefit that we see from the science perspective is that when you tap, you also activate your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain that's more involved in the kind of rational side of things. It's meant for planning, decision making, thinking about your next steps, envisioning your goals in the short term and the long term. And when we tap, we tend to activate that part of our brain. So it's a really cool effect where we're deactivating the really emotional part of ourselves just for a little bit, and we're activating this planning part of ourselves. And so it gives us a chance to make better decisions and to envision things for ourselves a little bit more clearly, to allow ourselves to focus. And this has so many beneficial effects for so many people. There are other really cool effects too. So one of these is memory consolidation, which I find really fascinating, kind of related to the amygdala too. So as we're in our day-to-day life forming memories and as we're getting ready to go to bed every night and kind of consolidating the day, everything that we learned that day and kind of framing it and getting us ready for the next day, we know that the emotional side of our brain can overpower this memory consolidation process. But when you engage in EFT tapping, you allow for that balancing to happen. So as we just mentioned, our prefrontal cortex turning up and our amygdala turning down, this kind of balance between the two allows you to form memories that are stronger, right? And so it's really amazing for people who are really trying to hone in on what it is they're thinking right before they go to sleep and what it is that, they want to do the next thing in the morning. They're able to kind of participate in that process a little bit more because they're kind of helping their brain shape their memories in a more positive way. Another piece I think that is really interesting about this is the nervous system. So when you go beyond the brain and you look at the heart and our autonomic nervous system and even our immune system, you see that there's a lot of research on EFT tapping and its effects there. So just to give you a little sense of that, we know that when you engage in EFT tapping, you raise your heart rate variability, which is the variation in time between your heartbeats, excuse me. And this is a really good proxy to measure how well you handle stress and how your nervous system is functioning at any given time. Doing this is kind of like exercising a muscle, and it allows your nervous system to respond rather than to react. And when this happens over the course of a day, a week, a month, um, during that period of time, your body is able to start to balance itself, start to truly regulate the nervous system. And you'll find that you'll have more time for digestion, more time for deeper, better sleep at night, and all these other sort of processes. Your immune system will benefit as well because your nervous system isn't really fighting to stay in balance. It's sort of naturally falling into that balance because you're giving yourself the chance to activate your parasympathetic nervous system rather than constantly being reactive to your environment and activating your sympathetic nervous system. So all of these come together to form a really cool picture, right? We're activating and deactivating things while we are EFT tapping. It's very powerful, I would say, because not only are we focusing on these thoughts, and affirmations, but sometimes negative thoughts, as you mentioned, Reese, and we're kind of like meeting those. We're giving our body that chance to participate. And it's what we call a cognitive somatic technique because it engages both the mind and the body together. Very, very powerful. One of the most beloved, I'd say, modalities that we teach in the SFI method. And Reese, you have such incredible resources that I use myself all the time available on your YouTube channel and elsewhere. And I absolutely love it. So highly, highly recommend checking out Reese's other videos.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was such a perfect rundown. And yeah, we have longer EFTs on our YouTube channel and short little snippets like tasters on our Instagram, but it's great to get your feet dipped into EFT whichever way you can. And it's so funny what you were saying about EFT affecting your HRV, your heart rate variability, because I always connected breath work with HRV, which we know it has great benefits, and didn't previously realize how much EFT also impacts it. And I'm someone who does deep breathing and EFT pretty much every day. And then I got this Aura ring. And at first I thought my Aura ring was broken because I'm like, why is it saying that my HRV is over 100 when so many people are telling me that theirs is like 60? I'm like, is there something wrong? But I think it's because for so many years, I've just been tapping on literally everything that comes up. I must have had the physiological shift. And I also love, everything that you're saying about EFT being such a powerful tool for that cognitive somatic approach, because one of the other things that you taught me earlier is how we have afferent neurons and efferent neurons. So the majority of the communication in our whole physiology is going from our body to our brain. 80% is going from our body to our brain. Only 20% is going from our brain to our body. So if we're trying to make shifts through talking or affirming or whatever, but we're only using our brain, we're not bringing our body into it for that full, that ecosystem of bettering how we feel. So I love EFT because it brings both in so perfectly. So thank you for bringing the research into it, because we just love to learn about that and have all this information to back it up. I know that it helps our coaches who are working with professionals, who are going into corporate settings, who are speaking on stages, feel so much more confident about what they're communicating, because they can say, look, even though maybe sometimes it looks silly when I'm tapping on my face, I actually have the stats to back it up right here. And I get comments like that on my Instagram. Like, what are you doing tapping on my face? I don't know, but I feel better. Yeah, because there actually is science behind it. So if you're watching this and you're thinking that you want to add more tools to your coaching or more tools to your consulting or your work with clients, definitely take a look at the Yes Apply Method coaching certification, because you walk away with 5 research-backed modalities that support you with supporting your clients even deeper. And even if you've been watching this and you're thinking to yourself, I want to learn how to use these tools to better my life, dive deeper with EFT, know how to use EFT and all these incredible tools through anything that I'm going through, then definitely take a look at our course called Yes, It's Yours, because we break down how to use all the tools in your own life. So thank you to everyone who's watching. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you get notified when we come out with more videos. And thank you to Aubrey for coming on here today and sharing the science with us.
Amazing. Thank you. Definitely check out those other EFT videos. Love them.